taken downtown. Do you hear me? Never been taken downtown. Never been booked. Never been booked. Never been fingerprinted. Never been fingerprinted. Understand that? I have to repeat myself because some people in here are a little bit slow. I have never been arrested, never had handcuffs put on me by law enforcement. I have never been put into a paddy wagon or a police car with those handcuffs on and charged with a felony. I have never been taken downtown and booked for a felony. I have never had a mugshot. So I've never had a mugshot. I've never had a fingerprinted down there, ever. So that's going to stop. And then they say that they paid money to do this and to find out that I have a felony. And that number that was printed on the internet, I called it down to records on Monday, and I asked the person in records, this felony number, I'd like to know, and I told him my name, my social security number, where I lived, and they said, okay, just a minute, I'm checking. And that person said, no, going all the way back, I have no felonies. None. But they want to make a big deal out of it, these trolls. Now, we have got a bunch of trolls in Amber's room, Forever Amber, and she said that she read this letter, and her mom read this letter over the internet, and I believe they put it on YouTube or whatever. They wanted to spread it around because I am such a terrible person. Well, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the very beginning. There was a guy named Manny's Cuz that I was on. I've been doing shows for 3 years. I started with UPRN. I helped build Jeff and Phil Weber's site. I donated. They've got my wife's computer table that we donated, and we gave them a couple monitors and a few other things out of the kindness of our heart. And I was Jeff Weber's right-hand man on 2 Hours of Truth with Jeff Weber. I sat right next, Monday night, I sat right next to him to the right, and I was the one that typed in. I had my own keyboard, and I typed in, welcome, you know, just like Dwayne T64. I type in there, hey, Dwayne, how you doing? Welcome. I didn't have the microphone. I just had the keyboard. And that's what I did. And then Jeff and Phil both encouraged me to do shows. So I started doing shows on Tuesday night. And then Phil did shows on Wednesday night. Land of Confusion. And so forth. F-Town did them on Thursday night, and Cook did them on Friday night. Either that or Saturday. I can't remember which. Warlord, the trolls just think it's funny when you go off like this. I'm not going off. They think they think that I'm going off. They laugh at something like that. That shows their mentality. They are really hard up to think that that is funny. Boy, they must have a hard time laughing They also have, if you remember what that video, that a little over 9-minute video was all about that I played just before I started my show, stop and think. The trolls laugh when you actually call your local Department of Police records. Yeah, I just got a blocked call. Yeah, sorry about that, trolls. I got my phone blocked. I don't accept all calls. So eat your heart out. Anyway, so from there, Jeff and them, and I'm just doing a little bit of chronological order here. So Jeff and Phil says, Pat, you ought to do a show, man. You got to do it, you know. Well, I thought, no. Oh, man, you'd be good at it. Yeah, well, yeah. So eventually I started doing shows. My first official show was February 21st, 2011. And I've been doing them ever since. And then the day that Blog TV was sold and closed, I went to VaughnLive.tv and started my shows. Well, going back to Blog TV, Manny's cuz, as he was named back then, that's what I called him back then, Manny with CU or whatever, I don't remember. But it was kind of like Manny's cuz. I kicked him out of my room. I banned him because he was a troublemaker. Smart mouth. Way even back then. There's a history right there. And then when I came to VaughnLive.tv, taking it to the limit with the Warlord, I was very well accepted, and there weren't hardly any trolls in this room. And then all of a sudden, there was somebody named Manny came in about, 3 weeks to a month later. I don't know exact time, doesn't matter. And he followed me over here. And then he started causing problems, and I kicked him out. Same thing. Smart aleck. I wouldn't put up with him. And I will not put up with him to this day. He cannot come into my room. I don't want him in here. And he says, his very words were, I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to ruin you. What am I supposed to think? Boy, that's a threat. That's a downright threat. Downright threat from Manny. And then he hooked up with Section 8 Larry. What a name, Section 8 Larry. Kind of like a spoof name. That's government housing for people that cannot afford housing. Yeah. Like I've always said, all birds of a feather flock together. They team up. And then they threaten me and they say, well, we're coming to your town. We're going to find you. And he finally got my address, my phone number, and all that. Yeah, he got my phone number. He got my address. And I understand that somebody asked him, hey, Manny, you got his phone number? Hey, can I have it? How much money do you have? That's no lie. That's exactly what he said. Now they're probably watching me over, but I don't know for sure. They're probably watching me over at Forever Amber's room. And they're just laughing and having a good old time. Well, they're going to get exposed because Manny says that I wouldn't read it. He says, I dare you. Well, I'm going to read it and I'm going to comment on it. Because there are a lot of lies in here. It starts out, Forever Amber, right at the top here. See? It will take you right there. It will take you most of the day to read it, felon. This is what Manny said. You can put it right up there. See, there's Manny right there. See, Manny? It will take you most of the day to read it. See, he's being very, very, well, you come up with a word. It will take you most of the day to read it, felon. Hurry the F up. I have some posting to do here. Then Forever Amber says, this is a letter my mom wrote him in its entirety. Note, go ahead and read this on your program. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. Amber's already read it on hers, and so everybody's heard it and loved it. Really? Well, it starts out, Mr. Slumlord, derogatory statement, derogatory name, no respect. Have you looked up the word humble in a large dictionary lately? Well, I'm sure that it doesn't take a large dictionary to look it up. You know, you can get a small dictionary, look it up. It's in there. You wouldn't have a clue. You don't have a clue what humble means. A humble person would never do to people what you do. Really? That's your opinion, I hope. You are a joke as a human being. And as long as you keep threatening people the way you do, you'll never be anything but a joke. I don't threaten people. I never threaten people. I know better than that. I don't threaten people. Where do they get that from? How dare you call yourself the Warlord? The Lord wouldn't presume to call people names as you find so easy to do. I call the names. What was this word up here? Come on. You're the one that's calling me names. I just said it. Mr. Slumlord. Who's calling, again, who's calling the kettle black? All right? This is really hard to read because it's not double-spaced. Just banning people from your room is so sad. Well, I ban people for a reason. No cussing, no infighting, no posting links. And I tell people to stay on subject and no sexual innuendos. Don't be slamming people. You know, the trolls come in here and they slam me, they slam other people. That's why I kick them out. Shame on me for that? Really, when you break it down? You are ruining your own show, Pat. How am I ruining when I'm keeping everything clean in my room? Try to understand that. Did it make you feel good to call Amber a lowlife, Pat? Well, I think that's a category that she lets herself in for, and we'll talk about that later because I'll prove that. I'll never call you a warlord idiot. Oh, don't call names, but her mom, Barb, is the one that calls me an idiot, who is, again, calling the kettle black. And then, well, we'll move on. The Lord isn't in a war with everyone like you are. No, I'm not in a war with anybody. Because you are not the Lord. Did I ever say that I was a Lord? That's just a name. That is just a name. And if you were that close to the Lord, you would know that judging other people is wrong, and that those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Really? Well, I'm going to tell you something there, Barb. You're the one that so far in this letter, you're the one that's throwing stones, not me. I was called a slumlord. I was called an idiot. Who is calling the kettle black now? And he says, judge and not, ye be judged. That's right, I don't judge people. But I have the very right to categorize people if they are good or they're bad. And I want to stay away from the bad people and hang around with the good. And unfortunately, the people that your daughter is hanging with are evil. Namely, Manny. He's got a record. He's the one that's got the felony. And he's got even his mugshot. And, you know, he can pull it off, but I got screenshots of it. He's got this shot and he's got this shot. And he's proud of it. And then Larry is another one. He even admitted that he's got an ankle bracelet on, and Manny mentioned, and I got screenshots of it, Manny even mentioned, he says, well, I got a key for that. He says, you want it? He probably wants some money for it. And then he says, well, as soon as I can get the camper out, I'll pick you up, and then we'll go and visit me. That's kind of a threat, wouldn't you say? All you do is judge your people on your show. If only one of your mods decided to walk away, it might be believable that you were in the right. But four at once is a pretty obvious indication that there's something wrong with you, not them. I pity you. Really? You really pity me? Let's look at this. There were four. Amber, Nighthawk, Armageddon, and Bull Nibbler. And Nighthawk talked to Manny, he said, a long time ago, and Manny talked bad about me. And he says, well, I can't believe that. But he couldn't believe it up until just about the last few months that he was with me. And he was, those guys were with me, I would say, roughly a little over a year. So it took them all that time to figure me out? No, they had something going on somewhere before that. I would say that was all pre-planned out. And I think Manny is the one leader of them all. What happened to the issue on your show, Pat? Instead of all the name calling and the lying that you do, I haven't lied about anything. Yes, you lie, Pat. Bringing your wife online to say that you don't is so sad. Well, Manny went and said that he talked to his wife. That's another issue. Manny's wife is supposedly an emergency RN at a hospital in the emergency room. And he asked if it was right, after my wife had a heart attack, to go home a week after. And she says, oh, no way. Well, Warlord, I guess, is demanding of his wife, and that she works 2 jobs just to keep his internet on. That is a total lie, because she only works 1 part-time job. Okay? And if people would understand what goes on. Just like in that movie, they make stuff up to be derogatory to the person that they're going after. I spent 24/7 sleeping in a chair next to my wife in the hospital. I guess money is more important than my wife, right? I could have had a party, but that's not me. That is not me. I stick to my wife like glue, and she sticks to me because we love each other, and she and I have fun together being around each other. Okay? Then he said that I made my wife get back to work. I didn't make her do anything because she could not go back to work until she got released by the doctor. And so when they made an appointment for her to go back in to see how she was doing, that is when they signed the release. So I'm going to tell you something, Manny and all your little troll buddies, I blew that one right out of the water, pal. And getting back to Nick and Lynn, you said that I got ahead of my story. Let's go back to the Blog TV days and to Vaughn Live. I did not, as you say, Manny, get rid of Nick and Lynn. And Nick and Lynn lied big time. Big time. They could not afford that $100 and some, and they were getting booed and kicked off because they were losing the connection all the time, because they got satellite, because they're living out in the country. Okay? So that's why he's not on, because when he started, he said that he was ghosting me for the longest time. He did that to a lot of people, and then he saw that he liked it with the way I ran my show, so he made himself present to me with a nickname of Nick and Lynn. And we talked, and I helped him because he was with Blog Talk Radio. And he said that he didn't know, and he was asking me questions about the video side of it, and I helped him. I helped him with that. And then he said that he would, if you remember correctly, folks that have followed me, I'd say, hey, Nick and Lynn is going to be, I advertised for him. Do you think if I advertised for him that I didn't want to help him build up people? So I encouraged the people that I had on my show. I says, Nick and Lynn are going to be doing a show right after mine. So why don't we all go over there and listen to what Nick and Lynn had to say? And that's exactly what I did. Until he could not, he thought that he could go over to another place, and I kept telling him, I says, it's your satellite, brother. It's not going to work. He says, man, I was taking a broom and I was sweeping that snow off of it. I says, really, you could reach it? Yeah. And I go, oh, okay. Why am I raising my voice? Because I talk loud. I talk emphatic. That's why.